So, good evening, everyone. Okay. So this is the okay. Good evening, everyone. So this is the presentation, and this is the first slide. Uh, this is the presentation we are able to put together. We all together to create this presentation. And the first page here is you can see it's showing the name of the group, Group One, first semester 2025-2026 academic session, and the MIT 823 seminar presentation. Department of Information Technology. Department of Information Technology. So the second slide is showing the name of the group members of this particular presentation. You can see it's tabulated. We come up with a table whereby admission number and the names of the group members are there. And the third page, we're talking about modern browser. We are trying to do just the topic of the seminar. Um, and it's modern browser architectures and HTTP3. But we talk about the seminar question. This is the seminar question. Critically evaluate how modern browser architecture, such as multiprocess and site isolation models, impact on both performance and security paradigms of client-server communication in large-scale whose web ecosystem, and in what ways do HTTP3 and QUIC uh, alter the foundation assumption of client-server interactions established since the HTTP1 era, and how should future web servers adopt their concurrence and connection management models? And this is the question. And first thing here, we have introduction of the slide, and by trying to do justice of that question that I just read. Modern web system require a high concurrence and strong security, and browsers, which we know to be a software or application that enable us to access the internet. We talk about browsers now use multi-process and site isolation architectures, and HTTP3 and QUIC redlined and redefine traditional client-server communications. That is just the brief introduction of this seminar. And the modern browser architecture, I trying to discuss about the architectures of the browsers, and we are able to itemize about 3 items here where we say browsers like Chrome, Edge, and Firefox use multimedia process models. We all know that models are abstract representation of reality. So these browsers like Chrome, Edge, which are modern browsers, use multi-process models, and which also separate process handling, rendering, networking, and plugins. We have different types of plugins that's available today for use in terms of independency injection of plugins and all of that. Then we talk about improved performance and strengthen security isolations, whereby most of these security are strengthened. We have different security architectures. We discuss and we're able to come up with this summary. We talk about the HTTP architecture with encryption security architectures. We talk about different types of security architectures. Just like when you have a house, you have a gate man, you have CCTV. So the same thing applicable to the performance of the security of these particular web browsers architectures. Now the multi-process models. Now we also need to discuss about the multi-process models, whereby we're able to also itemize these, whereby we say parallel processing improve browsers responsiveness. We know about responsiveness of browsers. For instance, if we have an application and in terms of browser whereby it has to fit in terms of different responsiveness, like the type of different phones, either iPhone or different type of screens. So we are talking about responsiveness here. Inter-process communication may introduce latency, sandboxing processes and protect against SSS and SCRF attacks. If you are using JavaScript very well, you know that if you want to submit form, if without using CSRF, you will not be able to submit your form. So these are prone to attacks as well. Now, the next we are going to talk about, we'll talk about site isolation based on what the question says. And that is why we are able to differentiate different types of origin. We'll talk about different origins run in what? In separate processes. Improve enforcement of some origin policies, increase in memory usage and process management complexity. So the management of this particular memory usage in the web is particularly managed using site isolation. And the next one, impact on class communication. What are the impact of client-server communication? We know server provided with resources, and the client are the users. So what are the impact of these resources provide to the client in terms of communication? Now we talk about multi-process, multi-browser process create parallel connections, the connection that is created around it, because we all know that internet is a global connection of computers that has to do with what interconnection of computer, a variety of information communication technology facilities that communicate with each other through the means of standardized communication protocols. And this cannot be made possible except the use of browsers and servers that are available to provide these resources for us. Now, concurrent requests increase back-end load. We all know when you are communicating, when you are using a browser and you want to submit data from the browser to the backend, definitely the backend and the front end need to communicate. The data in the front end must tally. So concurrent requests increase back-end load. IPC and context switching can affect latency, sensitive what applications. And those are the impact that was itemized by us. Now, HTTP and quick. And when we're talking about quick, we are talking about UD in interconnectivity. Now, HTTP is built on the quick transport protocol. And we all know what a protocol is. And when you talk about transport, transmission, then protocol is a set of rules or guidelines computers that are connected on the web must follow before they will be able to communicate with each other. And when we talk about reduced head of line blocking and latency, we also support connection migration and mandatory encryptions. Now, mandatory encryption, we all know why we are encrypting for the purpose of security. Now, performance and security implication. What are the performance and security implication of this? We talk about server must support asynchronous event-driven architecture. If you are used to what is it called? This application like React that has to do with asynchronous, which wait for resources for to be able to deliver a particular resources. You know what we are talking about, the asynchronous support system, and that has to do with the event-driven architecture, whereby an event attached to a particular event to carry it out. Now, the threat level encryption enhanced security. Rate limiting is necessary to prevent DOS attack. Now, concurrence management. How do we manage our concurrency in terms of this web architecture? Use non-blocking framework like Node.js or Netty. Organize connection pools and quick stream. Apply wait stream prioritization for balanced resource usage. Resource usage must be balanced and the usage must be prioritized. So prioritizing for balanced resource usage is under the concurrence management. Now, the connection life cycle. The connection lifecycle adoption. How do we adopt this? Because we know that what in using computer is adapted to different functions. Now we are talking about the connection lifecycle, how this connection is properly adopted. Now enables seamless connection migration for mobile clients. Use quick zero RRT for faster reconnections. Allocate resources dynamically based on system load. And based on the load that the system is carrying, resources will be allocated. Now, in conclusion, I want to conclude this seminar based on what we'll be able to present so far. Modern browser architecture improve both security and performance. We all know that based on what we presented, the security architecture is what increased, and the performance of the system also, the web browsers architecture will also be increased. The HTTP3 and quick significantly change client-server communication. The communication is made easier. The server resources also made available, so the client-server communication is made easier as well. Future server should or must adopt adaptive asynchronous design so that it will be easily accessed and communication will be made easier. Meet this. Now, these are different diagrams that explain the multi-process browser architecture, whereby we itemize the types of browser that Chrome, Edge, and Firefox with the security implication as well as performance implication here using multi-process architecture. And the third one is impact on client server based on what we've discussed. This is just these are images to back it up, to back our discussion up. And the last one here, we talk about quick client server interaction, how they interact. Or we talk about cluster stream, adaptive congestion control, rethinking reliability, which are all explained in the diagram as shown. And concurrence management also strategies, the management, the sequence workflow, the multiplex connection pools, and all these things are all the input and output framework are also explained in the image below. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Dixon want to say something. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Dixon. Thank you very much for your contribution. Madam, over to you. Over to you. Thank you very much. I'm really very grateful for this observation as well as recommendation, as well as all the contribution you've made so far to make this a success. I'm very grateful. Teamwork is a very great one. How we are able to synergize, how we're able to come together, the coordination, everything. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm really very grateful. It's a wonderful having you in my team. And I'm also grateful to meeting people like you, intelligent people who are willing to contribute their own quota based on this topic. Thank you so much. May Almighty God reward us all. Thank you so much.